Here we go. Hey, 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 I'm Kimberly Smith Austin. I want to welcome you back to another episode of the Made to Inspire podcast. I am here today with my awesome and amazing co-host, Misty Kerrigan. Hey, Misty.
Hey, Kimberly. How are you doing today?
Super fantastic. And what about you?
I am beyond excited. We are in the midst of our Business for Business series.
Yep.
We started a few weeks ago, and if you have not caught up with us, guys, go back to 3 episodes ago where we launched this, all stemming from a conversation of, holy crap, now is the time to get your ducks in a row and get your business aligned so that you can take it to the next level. And so we've been bringing on guests. We had Troy on a few shows ago. The man killed it, talking about where you could get money with government grants and how we could help. So now we're bringing in, okay, you got some money coming in, but our conversation's always been like, you could have all the money in the world coming in, but if you don't know what the hell you're doing, you're not going to continue to create the money as what you want, services and money. So we got you your first leg. Hey, where do I get some extra cash flow? And now what we want to do was bring you our favorite word, action. Action to start and do stuff. So we have a special guest today. One of my friends who I met on the Mentor Studio, a brilliant lady. She's an economist. She's an economist. Talk a little bit about the economy.
Yep.
Entrepreneur, investor, brander, marketer, and is really renowned and well known as the quiz queen. So without further ado, I would like to bring in Miss Catharine O'Leary to tell us a little bit about yourself and what the hell do we do in this economy?
Oh, wow. That's a big question. Hi, everyone. My name is Catharine O'Leary. Thank you, Misty and Kimberly, for having me on today. I'm very excited about, well, I can talk about the economy all day, every day, as an economist, but also as an entrepreneur and a business leader and mentor. So I'm very excited to be here today. I am the quiz queen. Just to give you a little bit of my background, I did not grow up wanting to be the quiz queen. I wanted to be the Wolf of Wall Street, to be honest. So that's the economics bent. And I actually spent 3 decades in corporate and have worked with Apple, Adobe, Pepsi, HP, pretty much all over the Fortune 100 map, always in that market research and consumer insights vein. So it was always about asking questions to your or their clients and their customers about what customers wanted, what they needed, what they're challenged with, what they, if they could wave that magic wand, what would that look like? What would the next drink look like? What would the next flavor of chips look like? What would the next iMac look like, or iTunes, or whatever the case may be. So it was always talking to consumers. And then the trick with that is then taking that information, and I love that you're focused on action here, and making those results actionable. Yes. So it's one thing to ask questions. Mm-hmm. It is, and it drives me, and this is a word of mine, it drives me bonkers when people ask questions without any intention. So asking questions for the sake of intention is annoying. Asking questions for the sake of taking action and using that information, that's what corporate does, and that's what entrepreneurs should be doing, and I'm here to help them do. So yes. The information that consumers would give us, we turn into new products, new services, new marketing campaigns, new sales conversations. If you've ever watched the Pepsi Super Bowl, they right down from who's headlining it all the way through to what products are being shown on the commercials. That is all consumer insights. So it's all about asking.
I want to just clarify, because it sounds too good to be true. So it really is asking your best customers what they want next, or new customers what they would like, and then giving it to them.
It does sound easy. The trick is that consumers can't tell you what the next widget is. So they can't tell you what your next, what you can create, right? They can tell you what the gaps are
Sure.
and you get to fill them. So you get to actually understand what that might look like, what that, that new Pepsi flavor might look like, what your new service might look like, what entrepreneurs are great at, like, take your frequently asked questions. There's probably a service or a product in there,
Oh
Yes,
my God.
yes,
right?
yes.
So things of that nature.
Love that. Catherine, as I listen to your background, your past experience, I am really intrigued because there's something that led you to where you are today. And I'm going to just really quickly ask if you could share with us what you do today, and better yet, what was that click in your mind that says, you know what, based on what I've done in years past, this is where I want to take my life or my journey, if you will.
Yeah, that's a great question. So after 3 decades in market research, honestly, I got a little, I'd hit a ceiling, like I didn't want to be the partner. I didn't really want to get into the CMO role. Like that's just a lot of politics and a lot of stuff that I didn't want to deal with. And I didn't want to commute anymore for the 3 hours a day that I was commuting.
Yeah.
And this is pre-COVID. So this is pre, Zoom, and pre like people being okay with you staying home. It's different now.
Right.
And thank God. But I decided to I'd actually gone through a global reorganization with Pepsi. Happens all the time. They were very good to me, and I decided to take a little bit of time to myself to figure out what I wanted to be when I grew up, and I didn't know. I didn't come up with a lot of really great answers. So I went into I started a business in network marketing, direct sales, fantastic business model, loved it. Loved the events, loved the products. What I soon found that I was not very good at, and is kind of critical, is lead generation. So finding clients, it's kind of important. And I was doing it completely backwards, wrong, soul sucking, awful, spending more money on Facebook than God ever intended one person to spend, spending more time on one-on-one calls that went nowhere because I wasn't qualifying people in a way that was effective. And I woke up one morning and just, I thought, in my grandmother's brogue, I thought, oh, Jesus, Mary and Joseph, what have I done? Like, oh, like I'm underwater here. Not only is my business not making money, it's costing me money. And I was faced with probably 5 hours of sales calls that I knew would probably go nowhere. Right. Just because I hadn't set it up right.
Sure.
And I had a decision to make. And Kimberly, you've probably heard this. It's that decision that entrepreneurs that leave corporate make, that one tipping point where you're like, maybe I can go back. Maybe I can get back in the car. And then I realized that there are not enough audiobooks or podcasts in the world that will make me get back in the car for 3 hours a day.
Yes.
So I had to find a solution. And as I kind of looked at challenges, and I looked at, like Facebook challenges, or, I looked at certain lead generation tools and techniques. Some of them are great for some things, some of them are great for other things. I wanted a thing that was good for everything.
Sure.
And I kind of came across quizzes that really clicked given my background, because I can write questionnaires in my sleep. I have in the
You
past.
have, I bet.
And then even done them in different languages in my sleep. So it's a talent. I wasn't sure how I could actually take that skill set and create an entrepreneurial business for myself. It took me a little while to find it, and then once it clicked, it just kind of took on a life of its own. So it was very much, I started doing it for friends. So I applied the knowledge to my own business,
Sure.
tripled my leads, double my sales, because now I'm talking to people that actually want to talk to me, and I'm not chasing people.
Right.
And then I started doing it for other people, doing quizzes, and then, started taking other people's courses and seeing some gaps that I know of, given, just my background and how I have a different point of view in the marketplace, and how I could maybe step in and become a a spokesperson and an industry leader around asking questions for the sake of starting relationships and starting conversations, as opposed to just going straight to a sales page. I call it the don't propose marriage on the first date. You know, the ability to have an actual conversation between whatever you're marketing and whatever you're selling, so you build that relationship, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Two things that I heard a lot, but I want to just really quickly hone on two things that I heard at the very near end. You said, once you start applying these principles, the quiz concept to your business, two things happen. I heard triple your leads and doubled your sales. Wow. I know that every business in this world and beyond want those types of results. So recognizing that is what you made happen for you personally, you were then inspired to go out and help others. So what does that process look like for you when you start partnering with an organization to help them do those two things and maybe even more?
Yeah, so it's interesting because entrepreneurs are incredibly good at talking about how they do something, and not backing out the purpose or the promise and the benefits. So the first thing that I do is sit down and say, okay, what's your offer? And let's, like, you got to start at the end. So, you know, if you're going to have a GPS and you're going to lead people somewhere, don't lead them in circles. Lead them to a point, you know, that you want them to land on, and that's your offer. So what's the promise? What's the benefit in your client's language? No jargon, no speaking over their heads. No, don't get too what I call markety. And I'm queen of that too, to be honest. Because I can get very markety and all fluffy with the words, and sometimes it's just like cut to the chase. How are your consumers asking the questions? Like, I call it the 3 a.m. wake up call. Like, what's waking them up at 3 a.m. that they're struggling with, that you have something that can help them with, right? Yeah. So if you can have your offer, you know, articulated in a way that consumers understand, and you can identify the problem that they're waking up at night, you're 90% of the way there. Because the way then to connect the two dots, so the start point and the end point, is just a coffee conversation, right? Like, okay, you're having this problem, then now let's sit down, let's talk about it. Before I offer you any solutions, right? I need to know a few things, like if you're a business coach, so you might be asking somebody, how long have you been in business? Do you have a team? What systems do you have in place? You know, what are you struggling with? Is it mindset? Is it going to like 6 to 7 figures? Is it maybe systems? Is it time delegation, or, you know, delegation and time management? Okay, those things I can help you with. This is how I can help you with mindset. This is how I can help you with time management. And this is how I can help you with systems. They might all go to the same offer, but now you've talked to people in a way that you're meeting them where they're at. So the big problem is, you know, everyone's kind of big, you know, that's the problem that's keeping them up at night. There are nuances within those problems that you can speak to people individually. So you have had a personalized two-way conversation with them. They feel understood. They feel heard. You've learned a ton. And you've gotten to invite them to the next date, if you will. Still no proposing marriage, but now you can invite them to the webinar or the sales call, or, you know, the welcome call, or, you know, whatever, the evergreen masterclass, whatever that looks like.
Sure.
I cannot type fast enough.
I know, this is so good. So good. So would you see a quiz as the first level of someone's quote unquote funnel? Would that be an ideal first level?
Well, yes, according to me. According to me, yes.
Yes.
The queen says.
I would say yes, and I have yet to meet a business that I can't do a quiz for. I mean, I think, again, if it doesn't have to be the very first thing, maybe that very first thing is a post, and then they take your quiz to learn more. So maybe there's like some organic posts. Maybe you're in a networking group and you want to drop something really easy as a lead magnet, quote unquote, drop your quiz. I mean, I drop my quiz in the grocery store. I'm just gonna say, I drop it everywhere. Like if I speak to sell, like if you only have a 10-minute speak to sell time slot, like that's your freebie. That's your $20 quote unquote freebie, because you are giving a report, you are giving value at the end of the quiz, and you are offering the next step to them. So it is a valuable lesson, and it can be used everywhere. Everywhere a link can live, a quiz can live. So you can use it in your emails. You can use it on all of your social media. You can use it on your postcard. You can use, and then you've got one place that everyone's kind of aggregating to, and they all ask the same questions. Now you're building a database.
Yes.
Now you can build a lookalike audience. Now you can build your Google Analytics. Like now you're getting some traction around everyone going through the same process.
I'm so excited. I'm ready to run. You ready?
So if Kimberly disappears, it's because she had an idea and she's already out working on it in the middle of the podcast.
Yeah. Gotta go. He said, yeah.
Right? Good stuff.
I do want to take it back because I love it. Me and Kimberly wrote a book, humble plug. And it really is, it's millions of possibilities, and it's taking your ideas from your head to monetization. And one of the things you said, God, I can't tell you how many ideas we have a minute between me and Kimberly. We're always calling each other with an idea. But the best part, I think you said, was it took me a bit, but I found a way to take my own skill set and make it an entrepreneurial business. Mm-hmm. And I think that a lot of people out there, especially like us, would really, and I still am an employee somewhere too, but God, I think that's the dream, right? Is like taking something I could do in my sleep and love to do, and then creating income from it, whether it's a side income or the main income or whatever that is. But what made you go, wow, creating these questionnaires is a place I live in. How do I monetize it? Like, is there a process that you did that maybe someone out there who's listening right now could sit down and maybe go through the same questions you were asking yourself when you were trying to figure out what is that skill set that you really want to lean into?
Yeah. And I think, and I'm sure that anyone coming out of corporate for as long as I had been in there, I was a little burnt out on my own subject matter expertise. Like I was kind of looking for that, like, like I want to go off and I'm in Canada. I want to go off and play hockey in the NHL, and that's what I want to do, or whatever that is. A little too old for that, but I think that for me, I needed to be open to where the journey was going to take me. I needed to learn some lessons along the way before I hit the big idea. And it wasn't even so much of an idea. I saw somebody else doing it, and to be honest, I kind of disagreed with the way he was doing it, and I kind of realized that I could do it better.
Are you guys related? I swear to God, like this is too crazy.
Like, and so I think that what we do as just people in general is that whatever is easy to you and whatever you can do in your sleep, you don't value as highly as something that you have to work at. And like, like if I just like, sweat when this, like to do this, then that means that I'm working hard, and that means that it's valuable. I don't know where that came from, but it's bullcrap. Like, because that's actually the total opposite to what you're supposed to be doing, right? Like you were given the stuff to do in your, like whatever you're doing in your sleep, like that not in your sleep, but like whatever's so easy to you, it's not easy to almost every other person in the planet, right? And if you can help people because it's easy for you, you should value, like that's where the value should be. Does that make sense?
Absolutely makes sense.
I think you nailed that. And a lot of times, because we do business, we coach corporate and we coach individuals, but even in corporate, you find those people who, one, they don't know that it's a gift. and they sometimes get upset at everyone else for not being in that level that they are. It's like they're playing in the NFL and you're playing, you know, like some on the street, and they're like, well, how come you don't know? And you're like, I've been trying to learn this for years. Like it's so easy. So I think that sometimes gets frustrating. But then also when you're looking at, well, how do I monetize this? Because everyone could be doing it. I always take it back to, like, have you ever seen someone that could draw really well? Like, I can't draw a stick person to save my life. On those games, no one wants me on their team. But someone draws beautifully and they look and they're like, oh, this is nothing. Yeah, because they don't know it's something, because it's something that they've always just been able to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think for me, like, how do you, like, okay, so I can ask, like, I can develop questionnaires. Well, how is that going to turn into anything? Like, I mean, you have to be kind of open to things being a little different. Like, I'm an okay cook, but I'm not a chef, right? I can't draw worth crap, so I'm not an artist. Like there are some things that people like say, oh, you know, like if I'm going to go off and do my entrepreneur thing, then I have to, you know, like I'm going to become the next Gordon Ramsay, or I'm going to become the next, you know, like reality show host, or like what, like it's so, we get so pigeonholed and so like into, like, there are 10 things that you can do. And so if you're not good at those 10 things innately, then, like, you know, give up. And it's like, this is, and we were talking about this a little bit before, this is the time and the place in the entire history of mankind to figure it out and to work it out, because the rules are going out the window, right? You've got, like, if you have the audacity to stand up for yourself, to stand up for what you love, you will be able to monetize it. I guarantee you that. You will be able to, because like, it's a clean slate. Like, make up the rules. Just pick it up.
Well, I'm going to add to that. We've been on a couple of calls in the last few months, and every call, when we introduce ourselves, some of our business, others are just, you know, like networking. But even if we're networking, you say, I help increase lead generation and get you to qualify people by setting up quizzes. And you say it so simply, you say it in one sentence. And even yesterday, or it was Monday, right? That guy said, oh, I need you. Let me get your information. Because it was so crystal clear on what you do that people are like, oh my God, lead generation. You say that word, every business person goes, oh my God, yes, qualified. Getting in front of qualified people would be amazing. So you created something that is a bridge almost in every business, like a gap. You created a bridge for every business where there's almost a gap between customers and or leads and qualified leads.
But I guess also what I want to also say is that it took me a little while to get here. Like, it took, like, you know, like I've got all the education, I've got the degrees, I've got, you know, all of the, you know, 30 years of working in market research. It still took a little while to get my entrepreneurship is no joke. Right. Like, it'll make you work. Yeah. Right. I mean, it's amazing, but it's like, you need your coaches, you need your peeps around you, to help you out. So it didn't come, like, even though I had all of that, you know, background, it took a little while for me to figure out how to, like, make those jigsaw puzzle pieces, like, work together. So, I mean, I have a friend that is currently working on creating a mastermind, because she has a podcast on, like, Star Trek, and she's going to go to Comic-Con and do, like, these masterminds, like, 3-day events. And like, I'm like, that is brilliant. Like, I bloody love it. Like, because you literally can take what you love to do and figure it out. Like, there is going to be a
Star Trek mastermind.
Yes.
Right? There's, like, I'm telling you, like, I love it. I don't know if I'd go to it, but I love it.
One, thank you, Catherine. But two, I'm a little scared of once I release Kimberly with all these excitement and actionable ideas of what Made to Inspire is going to be looking like for our schedule next week.
Well, you know, that's the interesting thing, because like you, Catherine, I've always believed that. That's why, you know, after being a management consultant, working in the financial services industry all across the board, I was like, you know what? I'm smart enough And I love life. I love time freedom as well and financial freedom. And I said this on many shows. I was being billed out initially, and this is back in the 90s, at $500 an hour. And I knew that what I brought to the organization was valuable. And I said, listen, if I can just convert that to $350 an hour as me, what can I do? I stepped out. Boom, there it was. The magic happened. Since then, I've been able to launch 8 businesses, help other businesses launch their businesses, and create what this marketplace today will afford us to. And I love what you do because you're the stepping stone in the sense of helping those organizations, especially all of you that are new here, whether you're a new business, you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, you're an executive looking at transitioning out. We strongly believe that Catharine's product, her quiz product, can help you get into the mind's eye of the individuals that you want to touch base with. Those, what we call the ideal client avatar. By simply having a quiz, a platform that you can get some people to say yes, no, left, right, up and down. You can find the people that are designed and built for you. You can touch on that pain point and bring it together to help start that process moving. I'm excited. I'm sorry. Go.
Yeah, no, and it's a conversation then, right? It's not a, I am trying to do X. Oh, I can tell you Y. And whoa, wait, like we just met, like
Right.
you, like, and I also, and I'm sure that you have as well, that the shiny suit salesman days kind of done, all right, unless that's really your gig. But
no, they feel like creepers now when you're at networking, right? And they're like, here's this, and you're like, okay, no thank you.
And for everyone out there that like doesn't want to sell, don't. You're there to service. Like you're there to help. And it's almost selfish not to offer your services and be able to help other people. Think of it that way as opposed to, selling or whatever. I mean, like we are in, again, clean slate. Like you can call it, frying fish for all I care. But like we have the ability to actually create the language and the economics that we want.
Yes. Yes. Now, I'd like to just add in, that is why each and every one of you listening today, make sure you grab yourself a copy of the Millions of Possibilities, taking your ideas from inspiration to monetization. That's exactly what you're going to need. I'm sorry, where's that noise coming from? Sounds like my computer, but I don't see anything. Sorry, you guys.
We can't hear it if there's a noise on your side.
You don't hear it. Okay, very good.
No.
So really, really important that we, again, go back, grab yourself a copy of that Millions of Possibilities. There is the process, 5-step process to help you start pulling those things out of your head so that you can get them out to the marketplace. And I think infusing what Catharine has is only going to improve your process and help you get there faster.
And in the show notes, you'll be able to click and go take one of her quizzes. You'll see how convenient it is, how easy it is. And just think when you click and you're taking her quiz, wow, how can I utilize this for my people or for my consumers that then make them leave? Because people are going to qualify themselves in or out. And part of that quiz is just really part of that first date. Hey, I have this amazing service. You may or may not need it. I don't know, but let's find out. Let me see if there's anything we can help you with. And I am crazy for quizzes. They get me all the time because I like my mindset is always intrigued and I want to learn. But like, well, are you a Monday or Friday person? Oh, I don't know. Quiz. And it's like, you're a Friday person. I'm like, oh, I'm a Friday person. But it really is in that questioning of getting me engaged to want to have a result, even if from the quiz, right?
Well, yeah, and you can, and this is why I love talking about the, you can make it up, you can make your universe up, right? So within the quiz, you can create your outcomes or your kind of your subgroups, if you will, and call them whatever you want. I mean, if you're into crystals and so on, maybe it's the blue light that shines from your heart, or the red light that shines from your heart, or like whatever that looks like. Or if you are a speaker trainer, like what size is your stage? Like, are you a Zoom call? Are you a virtual call? Like, are you like a virtual summit? Are you like in a stadium? Are you in a comedy show? Like comedy club?
I need to
like,
take that quiz. Can you create that?
Right. Or like, if you teach speakers, I'm thinking of the Mentor Studio, teach speakers on speaker theater or something. Like, what color is your microphone? Like, do you have the rhinestones and the diamonds? Is it diamond crusted, or is it like the one of the ones that go in your ear so you can have your hands all free? And you can create these personas that then you get to talk to your people, talk to your ideal clients where they're at in a fun and innovative way, that you have now built some, know, like, and trust factor with them, so that they want to take the next step with you. Mm-hmm. So have fun, let your personality shine. This is not the census, right? Somebody else is doing that. It's fine. It's taken. Don't worry about it. You can have some fun with it. And shine your personality, because the worst thing that you can do is get somebody into a one-on-one call and they think you're going to be all straight-laced and type A and this person, and then you're like not, and then there's a disconnect, there's a bait and switch, and now they're not sure what to do. So just be authentic.
Love that. Oh
my God.
So as we think about all that you've shared today, and I really love to give actionable items for individuals that are listening to our show, I want you to share with our audience maybe one or two, maybe three things that they could do to really get started and looking at how to implement this beautiful, I'll call it a product and or service that you offer to the world.
So I think if there's one thing I would ask is ask with intention. So if you are going to ask a poll or a ask me anything or a, are you, cat or dog, or I don't like whatever it is on if you're asking your ideal clients about this, or your ideal audience, ask with the intention of, so sit down and think of who you're talking to. Like, pick one person, like pick your avatar in your mind, talk to that person, but then share the results. Right? Share, like, hey, 80% of people are, strawberry. I thought it would be chocolate. Interesting. Let's have a dialogue about that. Or, it's a way to open that gate. Like, when we start any conversation, we get super curious, right? Like, where are you from? What do you do? Do you have kids? When we become entrepreneurs, we forget to ask those questions, right? So get super curious about your audience. Like, and I don't mean everyone, I mean your target audience. I mean just your 5-star clients, right? Only attract them, so that those are the people that you're talking to. So ask with intention, share your results and your insights, and keep the conversation open and like flowing, so that they, the feedback loop never closes shut. Right. So a lot of lead magnets right now, it's like, download this checklist, which is awesome, but that's kind of, you got the checklist now.
That's it. Yeah.
That's it. Right. And also 80% of people don't ever open the checklist once they've downloaded it. So it kind of, like, it doesn't continue the conversation, which is why I love the quiz, because you get instant access to the results, as well as, an email nurture sequence. But so, ask with that intention, share the feedback, so that you are sharing with your audience what each of them are saying. So you're building community, and then just keep that line of communication open. And I'm not saying to give out your text, your phone number and have everyone talking to you all the time. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that, if you facilitate a conversation, you're going to facilitate relationships.
I love it. I love it. So let me make sure I understand. Quiz, number one. Number two, they get the results, which I imagine either happen on the screen or come by way of an email, which
Both.
allows you to capture their name and email address, which then you then put them immediately in an email nurture sequence. I love how many emails are in that nurture sequence.
You can get you can do 3, you can go up to as many as you want, really. I mean, I've seen 5 to 7.
Okay.
But yeah, you go from problem to solve. So what your 3 a.m. wake up call into the conversation, into solutions, immediate. So into your lead capture, learn more about the solutions.
Yep.
Lead capture then triggers your email automation to actually send a report, which, you're going to send them something that they can hold.
Right.
But it also immediately goes to a landing page that actually has the results. So they're getting the results twice.
Okay.
Right. They get
That's
it
what-
immediately as a video or as a sales, like as a landing page, as well as, hey, you know what? In 15 or 20 minutes, my team is just behind the scenes doing up your report. It's going to be sent to you. Check your spam or your junk folders. But in the meantime, let's talk about, the best quiz for your biz is foundational.
Yes.
That means that you're building and then you go on from there. Now they've gotten the results actually real time. And then at the end of that, you can say, look, if you want to learn more,
Boom.
click here and get on my calendar, or click here and
yes.
Go to the webinar if you have an evergreen webinar, right? So you've got 2 streams going then. You've got the immediate real-time stream, and then you've also got the email with the report, and then you've got a couple with all the same call to action.
Awesome.
And that call to action can change, right? So depending on where you are in your marketing calendar, maybe you're doing a webinar for the next 2 weeks. And then, after that, you want the discovery call to be the end point. That's just a flip of the switch, right? At the end of the URL. So now you've got a lead magnet that actually is flexible and dynamic.
That's magic and so powerful, so very powerful. If you guys are listening, I mean, really listening, you should have captured so much, so many opportunities. But I know it's one thing to hear it, it's another thing to experience it. Catharine, I know that you have a viable product out here to the market, and we want to give our audience something. I believe you may have something yummy to hand out to the folks that are listening. Will you share that with them?
Yeah. So if you are interested in finding out whether or not, not even whether or not, because I'm telling you right now, a quiz is best for your biz. Because I have yet to meet a business that cannot use a quiz. So if you want to learn out what type of quiz though is, will, that your business can most benefit from, take the quiz. What quiz is best for your biz? And then you, and this is like I walk the walk, right? So this is my lead generation magnet. This is, I give this everywhere. And most of my database has actually gone through it. So, nice. And then I switch up, like sometimes it goes to the webinar, sometimes it goes to the calendar, sometimes it goes, like if I'm at the mentor studio or something like that, then I do that. But yeah, so check that out and you'll see all the different the ways that it works, interacts. There's a video at the end so you can see how you can, envision how it might work for you.
I love that. It'll be in our notes, but is there like a quick URL you give, like takethequiz.com, or is there a
there is, but the delay on it sometimes makes it a little wonky. It's quizformybiz.com, but it might time out on you. So check the show notes just to be safe.
It will both.
Love it. Great. Well, Catharine, we truly, truly enjoyed having you here on the show. Every week we bring this information here geared towards our audience. But what Misty and I discover is that every week we go away with more nuggets. We've added to our tool belt.
We're the audience.
Excited. So this is so joyful. Will you tell our audience where they can find you or how they can find you?
Oh, yeah. So I can be found at CatharineO'Leary.com. That's CatharineOleary.com. Or at CatharineO'Leary.com is my email. So I'm happy to answer any questions as they come up.
And we will have all that in the notes. What about on social media? Are you on social media?
You know what? I'm not a big social. I'm more of that networking, speaking person. To be honest, a little bit on LinkedIn. I'm the quiz queen on LinkedIn, so you can find me at the quiz queen on LinkedIn. But yeah, I'm not. Yeah, Facebook and I are not friends right now. So
we are hearing that more and more, and the
Yeah.
great part is that I think we've not seen the beast of LinkedIn yet, of what can be done, and we're going to have some shows on that. I know Kimberly's been diving into getting a little more insight and coaching, and so future show is definitely going to be on, you know what, LinkedIn is probably a more professional place to actually get qualified leads. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
Yes. Again, thank you so much, Catharine, for joining us for today's show. We really do appreciate you joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me. I had a blast. Thanks.
Yes. Well, thank you. And as we say here every week on the Made to Inspire podcast, there is something out there waiting for you.
Now go get it.